Okay, let me try this again. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sunshine. I'm sorry if my eyes move around a lot. I'm not used to being in the videos. I prefer to not be on camera. As you can see why, my face. But I wanted to do a video. I usually do shopping videos and fun videos with sound effects and words and all that good happy stuff, and I just wanted to do a quick video about something that's really important to me, and it's something that I'm just now learning about. And it's a shame that I'm just now learning about it because I was diagnosed 2 years ago. But what ended up happening was I've been sick for a very long time. And so for the longest, doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, all sorts of people were telling me that what was going on with me was in my mind. It's anxiety. Oh, you're having panic attacks. And I kept telling these people, no, my heart races, then I get anxious. They're saying you're anxious, and you're making your heart race. And I'm telling them, no, I know which comes first. And this has been happening to me since 2005. I have been arguing with people. I have been battling back and forth with people. And they have told me, it's not real. So I've been on medication off and on. And there's a joke, Martin Lawrence, he jokes about people who are fat people. And he says, it's not your metabolism, it's the Reese cup in your back damn pocket. And the girl's like, it's my metabolism. Well, look, they put me on a medication called metoprolol, and the first 3 letters are MET, M-E-T, and it does mess with your metabolism. It slows everything down. And when I take the medication, when I first ingest the medication, and usually 5 minutes after I take it, my heart races, but then it slows everything down. And I noticed that if I avoid metoprolol, I have no appetite at all. If I take it, then I get hungry, but that's on me to control because now I see the pattern. So I digress. Forgive me if I go off on tangents. It's a habit of mine. So I've been dealing with this since 2005. Been sick off and on, been living my life, been pushing through, working full time, doing all right. Managed to buy a house, was working full time, working a full-time job, just pushing through. Feeling like shit, but pushing through. Thinking, oh well, this is just one of those things, and it would get bad. I would have bouts where it was just enhanced. Hospital visit after hospital visit, just insanity. And I just was pushing through it. And so I had a bad bout in 2011, bad bout in 2012. Now, when I got sick in 2015, I will say that I think some of that was me. I almost feel like it was a premonition because I started getting really, really sick in December of 2014, January 2015. And I was having such bad anxiety that I felt like I was crawling out of my skin. I felt like I was literally going to jump out of my skin. I was so on edge. It's one of the worst things that I've ever felt to date. And I had this dream of smoke, and it was a lot of smoke. And I saw a woman who does Reiki, and because I've always been told that when you have those types of dreams, certain types of dreams with smoke can be a bad sign. And it was like something, I just could not get it together. My anxiety was so bad that it's hard to explain unless you've dealt with anxiety. And the funny thing about anxiety is when you have an anxiety attack, or when you're dealing with anxiety, once the anxiety goes away, thank God the memory isn't lasting. There's not necessarily a feeling that hangs on you, but you can kind of remember a little bit of what it was like. But I know it was the worst. It would make my like, it felt like it was in my limbs. Like, it was just, it's just hard to, I just can't even. You know how they say, I just can't. I seriously can't. And so, it was to the point where, and I will be open, I was put in a purple robe at OSU Hospital. I was losing it. But that happened on the day my brother died. Because ironically, I ended up, well, let me back. My anxiety was so bad that I was back and forth to the hospital. And they were just saying, okay, it's just sinus tachycardia. It's just sinus tachycardia. You don't have AFib, which is good, but it just kept coming. It would not stop. It was like something was going on with my heart. And I ended up, you know, I was having a really bad bout with anxiety. And this was around 11 o'clock on March 10th, 2015. And my phone rang. And and during this time, I had been avoiding people. So I hadn't checked on my brother. I hadn't done things that I should have done. And so my guilt is just, I think that's why I'm so effed up now, because I can't get that guilt off of me. Because had I been better, I should have checked on my brother, but I didn't. And I can't, that's not possible to live down. So I get a call from my mom, and she's screaming, and she's like, your brother, something's wrong. He's stiff. I don't know what to do. And I just said, Mommy, call Daddy or call Ronnie. They're closer to you. Call them now. Did you call 911? And I think she said they're here. I can't really remember because I was so messed up. And so at that point, my anxiety was already on 100. It went to like 5,000. And so then I was just freaking out. I'm walking through the house. I'm like so anxious that I feel like I'm going to piss myself. You know, it's that type of shaking. It's that type of intensity. And you know, it seemed like hours passed and I'm in this anxious fit. And so I called and I said, he's gone. It's like I felt like my brother had left the earth, because it felt like part of me was gone, and it still feels that way. My brother Ronnie said, yeah, he's gone, and he started trying to speak to me. But by then I started screaming. And so he's telling me about how they made an agreement that if one of them passed and blah, 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 they weren't going to cry. They were going to whatever. I wasn't part of that conversation. Number one, I'm the baby of 5 kids. I wasn't part of that conversation. That was a conversation that they had. And I don't feel that way. And I don't agree. And I wasn't a part of it. So by then, I was just gone. They took me. I was at OSU Hospital. They had to put me in a purple robe. They were trying to figure out what to do with me because I couldn't function. I was just sitting there like, what do I do? And I joked that my brother broke my heart because my heart hasn't been right since. So anxiety is part of what happens with me. You know, this was part of anxiety, but I've had someone tell me that, you know, because this happened to me before someone passed away. And, you know, they said that they think that sometimes I kind of sense things or whatever. Not even trying to have that. That's not, if that's the case, you can take that back. That's nothing that I want. So anyway, they put me in OSU, I think it's Harding Hospital's partial hospitalization program. And so basically I was there with people who were seeing blood, and they had a whole host of different issues that I wasn't dealing with. And so, number one, my brother is dead. I can't really focus on what's happening. I'm having a panic attack while I'm there. I leave the room. One of their nurses is so nasty to me. Like, this is the second day. The first day I go, and like everybody there has such I don't want to say serious stuff, because I don't feel like what was going on with me or what happens with me is not serious. But they had things, like I said, this woman sees blood, or some of them saw people, or you know, they had like self-injurious behaviors and different things going on that I didn't have. And so there's not like any levels to their treatment. Everybody is in the same room. So if you're just mildly depressive, or you have anxiety attacks, you could be in there with somebody with 15 or 20 personalities. Everybody's just lumped in there together. And so their stuff was so serious that I didn't really even get to talk the first day. And so in the midst of all this, like I said, my brother's gone. We're trying to get stuff together for his funeral. I was asked to write the obituary. I'm pretty much handling everything. You know, as far as trying to get the rest of the money together, just everything. It's on me. And I'm dying inside because my brother is gone. So the next day I have this panic attack. And the nurse takes me all the way down a hall and around in the corner and puts me on a couch. And she says, well, if you don't really want to be here, you should just let somebody know. And I'm like, bitch, this is what I'm thinking to myself. Like, you just took my heart rate. My heart rate's at 160. Do you think, why would you even say that to me? And so I told her, I said, I didn't have to get up and come here this morning. I said, so if I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't have came. I said, and you just checked my heart. Why would you even speak that? Why would you even say that? And so I said, let's start over. I said, because clearly we're off on a bad footing, and I don't like where this is going. I don't appreciate it at all. So she apologized, but I still went to their director, and I told him about what happened. So, of course, she sits there, and she starts trying to analyze me. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe another time. And I talked to one lady there, and she's a really nice lady. And she said, you know, honestly, she said, you know, I apologize. I don't know why she would have said that to you. She said, but honestly, I don't think that you'll be able to receive what's going on, because you're really wound up over what's going on at home, and we need you to be able to receive what's going on. And I said, yeah, I understand that. I said, but that's still no reason for somebody to assume that I don't want to be here. Because through it all, even with the situation with my brother, I still got up that morning. I came in to try to help myself. So I got through all of that. I don't want to say got through it, but made through that. So 2016, November, well, let me just say, my heart just kept acting up. Just kept, you know, it just wouldn't get right. So I've been seeing a cardiologist here in Columbus, Ohio. His name is Dr. Seth Riles. Good doctor. Nice guy. You know. I'd seen him before, and he told me that I don't have POTS. And he was treating me with metoprolol, and my blood, not my blood, but my heart rate was dropping down to like 58. And I was walking around feeling like Tammy the Turtle. Like I was super slow. Just everything was so messed up. So he told me, don't take that medication anymore. You don't have POTS. Okay. So my heart's still acting up. I'm still having these bad bouts of tachycardia. Just really going through it. Miserable. By now, I'm not working anymore because can't work. Lost a really great job making 20 bucks an hour because I couldn't do it. And that just was really so upsetting because I really liked the job. The job was really nice, and a good friend helped me get the job. So he says, look, we've given you a tilt table test. We've done all this, you know, all of these tests. We've given you, I've had Definity shot into my heart, which are like these bubbles that goes in. They check your heart. Like I had all of these tests, and he said the only thing we haven't done is an EP study. And so that's an electrophysiology study where they go in with a catheter. They go in through your femoral artery, and they basically manipulate your heart. And they check to see, do you have AFib? Do you have SVT? Do you have sinus tachycardia? And if you have any issues, then they ablate the problem. Here's the thing, though. They're manipulating your heart. They're making your heart do these things. So all this time, they've been telling me that there's nothing wrong with my heart. There's nothing wrong with my heart. It's just me. And yeah, I do deal with anxiety. But when they put me on fentanyl, that's number one crazy thing. I didn't know they were giving me that. I was awake during the procedure. The anesthesiologist, I'm telling him, I can feel this. I can literally feel the catheter moving in my chest. I can feel it in my heart. It's burning. And a lot of times, when I think about it, I cry because it was really traumatic. That's some painful shit. Excuse my French, but it really is. And I can look over there. I'm not doped up enough to where I'm not feeling it, and I can see what's going on. So get through that. I'm in the room recovering. He comes to the door and says, you were right. I was 99.9% sure that I wasn't going to find anything, but I did find SVT. He said, and I burned that off. I did the ablation, and I'm going to call your primary care doctor and let them know. And he left. That was it. He gave me a ditto, like a little a little sheet of paper. And it basically said, don't go up and down stairs for 2 weeks, and that you should be back to normal in 3 days. Yeah, who's 3 days? I haven't felt right since. He was supposed to call me. Their office was supposed to call me in 2 weeks to set up a follow-up appointment. They never called me. So I called them and I told him, I said, he did an ablation on my heart and I haven't heard anything. Nobody's called me. Nobody's what's the deal? So they make an appointment. He says to start taking the metoprolol again. And he says, you do have P.O.T.S. I thought you didn't have it, but you do have P.O.T.S. And he says, you want to try to up your salt intake. Okay. I've always been raised that African American people, regardless, you're not supposed to eat a lot of salt because salt leads to high blood pressure. And maybe not on my mom's side of the family so much. I don't know that they have high blood pressure so much, but on my dad's family, my dad's mom passed from high blood pressure when he was 14 years old. So when you say salt to me, my sister eats salt a lot. You can see it standing on her food, but I don't eat salt. I don't put salt on my food. So I'm like, okay, so I don't want to get high blood pressure, but you're literally telling me that I need to eat salt. And he's telling me put salt on a spoon and just eat salt. And I'm like, what the fluff, man? Okay. And that's all he said to me. I knew nothing. So all this time I've been feeling like total poop, feeling like total crap. So one day I'm just on Google and I decide to Google P.O.T.S. And there's this little turquoise ribbon that pops up. And I'm like, hey, we got a color. So I start looking around and there's all this stuff about dysautonomia. Now you would think that the doctor would have told me about that, right? He didn't. Nobody that I've seen described dysautonomia to me. They didn't really tell me, what was going on. Shifra Tyberg did tell me that she thinks I have a problem with my autonomic nervous system. And I think Dr. Riles did say, I think you have a problem with your autonomic nervous system. Never described it as dysautonomia, never gave me any paperwork, never said, hey, go Google this and maybe you'll learn. The people on the Facebook group, P.O.T.S Unite, and there's another P.O.T.S group. They have been so helpful. So helpful. And like I said, there is a YouTuber and she goes by Restoring Your Health. And she has really just, her videos are so encouraging, and it's in a twisted, weird way, because she did a video where she went out into the heat and she had on a Garmin wristwatch, and she literally shows you it's like a time lapse of her heart raising. And so I'm sitting there watching the video and I'm almost in tears, and I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, oh my God, thank God. It made sense to me, because I always wonder why do you get so jacked up in heat, and when you're just trying to do regular stuff, that people take for granted, things that people don't want to do, like going to the grocery store or cleaning your house or playing with kids like my nieces and nephews, or just being able to go out and shopping. Because see, I went from being a very vibrant person to being damn near immobile, everything that I do, I have to push to do it, so when people invite me to stuff and I have really good intentions and I want to come, but I don't know if I'm going to get dizzy and feel sick, like right when I'm all dressed to go and have to cancel. And most of the time I get so sick of disappointing myself, let alone disappointing other people, that I'm just like, I've become like a no person. Like, I don't even try now, because it's like, it's a miserable situation. And no, it's not cancer. It's not tumor, but it is debilitating, and it is just no way to live. It is no way to live. But I want things for sure, two things for certain. I will keep pushing. I will keep doing my best. I will, and it makes you appreciative of like good, I don't even say good days. It makes me appreciative of good moments. If I get a few good seconds where I feel clear and I'm not foggy and I feel myself, I am so grateful. I'm so grateful in those moments. And so it has changed me in that way. Things that other people take for granted, just getting up, can't get up too fast, can't turn a certain way, you know, walking, you know, just stuff that people find to be a pain. Like, you may not like going to get groceries. I go get groceries, I feel like celebrating. I'm on Facebook like, hey, I went to the grocery store today. You know, and I know there are people who are like, ugh, we don't need to know about your life. But if you knew my life and you knew how I felt, then you might understand that that's a victory for me. That's a big deal. It is a big, humongous, giant deal for me to do the stuff that you don't want to do. I'm overjoyed to do it. Cleaning out my kitchen, cleaning out my bathroom, cleaning out my toilet, dumping trash, walking out doing recycling. I rejoice in shit that you don't want to do. I'm happy to do it because it means that I'm feeling decent enough to do it. And so P.O.T.S stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardia Syndrome. And it's another one of those invisible diseases that people look at you and say, well, you look all right to me. You just need to lose some weight, or you just need to get your hair done. Like, my hair isn't colored. I haven't even gone to get my hair colored. It's getting dark outside and I don't have any light in here, so it's getting darker and darker as the video goes on. But, you know, you just, they think that I can just shake it off. And my dad, bless his heart, like, I had lost a lot of weight at one point when I was dealing with this, because I couldn't eat. And then anytime I did eat, you know, with my heart racing, my body thought that I was working out. So I was like losing a lot of weight, and I wasn't taking the metoprolol at the time. Let me see if I can't get some light. Nope, can't do it. So